Yeah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All distinguished speakers and all participants, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon or evening or morning to all of you. We are from all over the world. Welcome to this workshop on peace building and inner resilience organized by RISE in collaboration with Addu Women's Association. And for this series of workshops from RISE and AWA, we try to choose pertinent topics to encourage and inspire women, especially those who are vulnerable, to rise above a multitude of challenges, to become resilient, inspired, strong, and empowered women to reach their potential. This topic was chosen because we know and feel that inner resilience is an important characteristic to have if we want to live peacefully, sustainably, and productively in this changing and fluid world. If we are going to have lasting well-being in a changing world, we've got to be resilient. And to be resilient, we've got to have inner resource. Capitalizing on the potential within you of resiliency, we can overcome hardships in our life, but not everyone is born with exactly the same levels of skills or protective factors. And hence, we don't all have the same levels of resiliency. Hopefully, this workshop will inspire all of you to learn and understand the strategies which can provide coping mechanisms and eliminate the feelings of powerlessness that often accompanies hardships and help build resiliency within ourselves and others. Just like the past workshops, this workshop also has prominent and qualified speakers in areas that they would be deliberating on to motivate you, and especially those of our younger generation of women from our respective countries, as well as from global societies. We have 4 speakers for this workshop, and they are Aisha Bagir, Aisha Salim, Ashkar, Rabi Nawaz, and Dr. Sultana Segara, who will be introduced to you as we go along. So before we begin, please allow me to give some housekeeping information. As soon as I finish speaking, we will take a picture for social media. And so please start putting your videos on from now on. Please share these pictures on your FB pages, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And do please tag us. As the session is going on, please keep your mics mute unless you are speaking. And if you have anything to say or comment, do please raise your hand using the appropriate button for that, or write it on the chat box. Please also note that on the chat box, we have posted our website and social media details. Please save these details and visit us and comment and be active members. So now for the photograph. Shafa?
I think some of your cameras are still off. Just waiting for you all to on so that I can take the picture. Some more.
All cameras, please. Ashley, Benny, Denny, Mishka.
I'll take a picture right now. I think some of them are having issues with camera. So
okay, so let's move on then. Now let me introduce our first speaker and my dear friend and my co-founder of RISE, Sabina Shahid. Sabina is a graduate of University of Western Australia, a multilingual and trained in neuro-linguistic programming, a life coach, AD heart facilitator, strategic management coach, and very passionate about empowering women. She has been active in society, working on different fronts. Sabina, the floor is yours to take on the next item.
Thank you, Shakila. Thank you so much. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, our series of workshops are in essence holistic and in structure create dialogue with inspirational speakers on different global topics. Women have always been in the forefront of many global interactions in society, creating political and social dialogue, whether in Amazon style, fiercely promoting change, or the softer, gentler methodology of changing hearts and minds. But at all times, women have moved to nurture society with inner resilience. Yet for a woman, peace is complicated, as she wears multiple hats to maintain the balance. The nurturer, the provider, the educator, the warrior. The list is endless. Today in this workshop, we will discuss the different aspects of women in creative modes of peace building with amazing inspirational speakers, as well as being joined by two lovely young ladies who are experts in holistic methodologies of inner peace. So my introduction to the workshop is to start by asking all of us who are present here today to invite the intention of peace within you. The intention of peace could be relating to a personal circumstance or challenges in the workspace, or a broader view of social political change. We will do a short exercise of mind shift via language and intention. The mind is your most powerful tool. Use it to recreate your thoughts. Intention in this case being the magic movement of mind shift within you. In NLP coaching, we use metaphors to intensify the connection of language to the heart and the mind. In this case, the metaphor is the movement of water. So let's move towards an exercise. Make yourself comfortable, however you feel, wherever you want to be. Close your eyes if you'd like to. Keep them open as you like. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Gently put your hand to the heart. Feel the rivers of peace creating strength of purpose. Let the intention flow within. Can you feel the calm sense of commitment as the flow becomes steady and crystal clear? The sparkling depth of your inner dialogue creating a fresh perspective. Let these soft waves of intention be crystallized in your vision. Raindrops of intention will hydrate the soul until it feels drenched in a cool sea of vision. Feel the connection with the water element within you. You are receiving this beautiful intention as you mentally strengthen the resolve within yourself. Your intention is in your senses, in your vision, in your mind, in your heart. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Open your eyes and let there be a downpour of intention, ladies. So the idea over here is that we try and start with something holistic and meditative, so we get into the mood of what we are really, working towards. And of course, we're all here for you. And as coaches, we all try our level best to bring you to that point where your mind, your vision, everything moves forward in this workshop. So with no more of these sort of downpours happening, I think I'll allow Shakila to go ahead with our first speaker. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Sabina. Thank you. Now for our second speaker, actually our first speaker, guest speaker, Dr. Slochana Segara is a multi-award winner, global standard trainer, and is the founder and chairperson of Women Management in Sri Lanka, Maldives, Canada, and Australia. The founder of the Women in Management, Top 50 Professional and Career Women Awards, Sri Lanka and Maldives, founder of the Next Gen Awards, Sri Lanka. She travels to remotest corners in Sri Lanka and discover potential women who she calls diamonds in the rough, and she polishes them to become successful entrepreneurs. A statement I saw about her, I quote, passionate, astute, innovative, observant, courageous, diligent, and empathetic. Her heart rules over her mind. She knows she can, and all women can, and hence her sole purpose in life is to make all women believe that they can. My friend, Sulo, the floor is yours.
So much. Thank you, and for me to speak the first time, it's something challenging because today I came from a program called Mind and Happiness. I just finished it for 5-star Hotel 10 Colombo Hilton, and I'm here. So now we are talking about inner peace and everything. So first thing I would say, are you ready to work of seeing things as they could be instead of simply as they are? Are you willing to start exercising your creativity? That's something we should ask, because there are a lot of perceptions. We are not looking what within us, we are looking what we want to see and what others want us to see. Many women are mostly thinking that we should be seeing and think and talk the way others want us to think. And then we complain that we need women empowerment. I don't think none of us need women empowerment. We need women empowerment when the men are not empowered, right? Why men have not been empowered? When women, the mother, failed to empower the son, right? So where is the root cause comes? Root cause comes from the woman. So how you can build the inner empowered human? I would rather say human, because I don't believe in women's rights. Women's rights is human rights. Men feel anything, we also feel something. Men want to be educated, we also want to educate. They want to dream, we also have dreams, right? So it's just that we are being, God has created us as men and women, but God has given us the same feelings, same, I would say, same desires and everything. But the world is something that they say, no, women should be this, men should be this. So how we, rather than we fight with the external parties, why not we look in within us? As Sabina rightly said, inner power can give us a lot of happiness. How many times we women take time to think about us, not about family, not about business, not about the spouse, not about the children. How many times we think about the peace within us? Just I'm asking, just think for a minute. Have you ever thought, what's the peace within us? What should be given? They say many wars in the world has created because of women. Are you all agreeing with me? Women has been the reason.
Absolutely not.
No.
I wouldn't agree with that. Yeah.
So I would say no, but again, the men who fights with weapons, they think they are more powerful, but the women who fights with emotion are the most powerful weapon is within us. But they create the machine and they think that's powerful. So that called external power and the internal power. External power has no power if your inner powerless, even inner is powerless. If your inner, inside, the subconscious is powerful, your emotion, your physicality, everything is powerful. So I'll just share something I hope you all find in a way. So I spoke about this. Why the purpose of life? If anyone can say, why are we living? Why are we living? It's a simple question.
Anybody want to answer in the chat? That would be interesting. We had a participant answer.
To serve. We are living to serve.
We are living for?
To serve.
To serve, okay. Anything else? Any answers? Why are we living?
We
Yes,
are living
Asif.
to no, we are living to enjoy life. At the same time, we are living to serve mankind, humanity.
I would change the we are, just ask from yourself, why am I living? Why am I living?
I think the current purpose should be the most important purpose, at least in my mind. Whatever you are currently doing at that point in time is actually what you are alive for. And that particular current moment should be the most important moment that you are passing by every moment of your life. So whether that's to serve, whether it's to create happiness, whether it's to create freedom or any kind of activity which is towards the elevation of humanity, anything really.
But it keeps on changing. It keeps on changing from circumstance to circumstance. And then the purpose differs then. But the overall purpose, what I feel is that, for us to be able to take care of ourselves, be happy, live life, enjoy life, at the same time, do what is right, and then like empower the people around you.
Okay. So when you ask the same question from a child and adult, the adult get it so confused while the child just say one within one word, right? Because we have so much of things, we forget what the purpose of life. End of the day, what we want is in life is happiness. We all live for the happiness, right?
Yeah.
That is the, so the child, when I ask this question from children, they say, we want to be happy, we want to enjoy, we want to be joy, right? But when we ask from adults, they give so much of reasons that they forget ultimate goal is to be happy human being, right? To be happy, I'm asking every one of you. There are 3 elements in life we need. Okay, do you all believe that we need money to be happy? I said no. 3 elements. Huh? I'm asking, do you believe that you need money to be happy?
If it meets certain needs, a little basic, yes, I think some, it depends, of course, how much, but I think your needs have to be met for shelter, for food, for clothing.
Okay, so the first thing from 3 elements, one is you need money. That is your job, your career, your business, or whatever. The money is needed. What do you think the 2 other elements are?
Do we have anybody in the family who would like to answer? It would be very interesting if we had somebody, participants.
They do typing.
Yeah, some people are typing. That's what I was saying. It'd be interesting to have participants.
Yes. No, they are sent to be a good human
so
being
they
and
say
good
love.
Somebody
they
saying
say
love.
Yeah, all right.
Family.
Here the answer.
Family.
The second element is to be happy, family and friends. Yeah. So we have money, we have family and friends, right? So 2 elements. What is the third element, the most important element? So now we have money, we have friends, we have family. It's another big element we need.
Inner peace.
You're near, you're on fire, you're nearer.
Are we getting back to happy? What is it? Third element, purpose. Somebody said
happiness.
Purpose.
That's also near. Ultimate is purpose. For us to be happy, you need money, you need family and friends. Then the third element I'm asking.
Inner peace.
Us.
Very near, very near.
I should already tried inner peace. Come on, guys, chat. Let's see you guys come up with something.
Healthy
come on the chat box.
Yourself.
Sorry?
I would say
third element is purpose.
This is a very,
Safety
very
and
nice
security.
Safety
and security, that comes within
the chat box. The chat box, they say safety and security.
That is within the family, friends, money and everything.
Yes.
But that's
and
third
purpose.
element. That's
purpose.
nearer. The purpose is nearer. Purpose in life is nearer. You're nearer. Fire. Aim, fire, contentment, no.
So are we coming back to serving? Serving, is it?
No.
Service to humanity. No.
It's about having myself, me. So the 3 elements to be happy, me, myself, that is myself, family and friends, and money. Within that, me is my purpose, family is my purpose, life, serving, content, everything is within these 3 elements. Where we women remembers that we need money, remembers we live for the family and friends, and forget ourselves. That is where the peace, the empowerment, and resilience and everything comes. We forget that us are the most powerful element of life. We can have money, we can have all the money, big businesses, great careers. We can have loved ones, friends. But if we have lost ourselves, we do not know where we are going, there's no happiness. We can have ourselves, we can have a good family. If we do not have money to feed and give the education or whatever, there's no happiness. There can be myself, there can be a good business, career, money, but if you do not have loved ones, family, friends, there's no happiness. So these 3 elements create a woman. The woman is the happiness. The women give the birth to the nature. We are the empowered humanity. I would say the human from the nature itself. But sadly, when COVID hits us, we were talking about resilience, about management skills, when the management skills were given to us from birth. They say leaders are not born. Yes, male leaders are not born. Female are born as leaders because we teach babies how to breathe. When mother breathes, the child breathes. We teach them how to walk, how to speak, how to live. We were the leaders, but we have put it out, male leadership skills, female leadership skills. And we have divided women empowerment and men empowerment, men in management and women in management, forgetting we are the core of all these things. So I think when you speak about peace, it's more about internal peace than external peace. If we talk about empowerment, I think it's more about internal empowerment than external, because only 10% of our life can be controlled by external things. 90% are within us. 90% is within us who can actually control everything. So it's all about knowing who you are that matters. Women, God has given us superb skills. One is we have tears, right? Tears are something that you can wash all our sadness. Then we don't need to think about it. What we do is when we are sad, we think about it so many times, we use our tears. We are wasting our tears. God has said, come on, you have tears, put it out and finish it off. Let the life begin again. But the saddest point is, we keep tears as our fixed deposit and use it whenever we feel sad. No, cry and finish it off and go out and enjoy. Then God has given something. What men doesn't have? Tell me something. We have something that men doesn't have.
We have lots of things that
Lots
men
of things
have.
that
It's not physically, but
A lot of
something
things.
to do with
we have
leadership.
lots of things that men doesn't have.
But we also doesn't have what men has, but think of something with leadership. What men doesn't have, we have on a management level.
I think a woman is a nurturer in whatever point she looks at whatever building peace or creating society or socially, politically, anywhere. She always has that maternal nurturer feel to whatever her perspective may
That's
be.
the emotional side of a person,
Yeah.
the human. So tolerance, it's emotional. That's a leadership skill that women has. So men are active. No, don't get into this multitasking. Women are using that against us. They said, oh, women are multitasking, so you can take care of the kid and you can work, but we are only focused. So when we work, we cannot think about you. They are using it against us when we think it's a plus point. So I always say women are not multitasking. Women can only concentrate one. So men also has that. When we are working, we also working, you also working, right? So we have to know how to tackle it. If we have been so good to take the man out of the mother-in-law, why can't we use that same skill when we are doing things? So don't complain that we cannot balance it. We can balance it. One of the things men cannot do and we can do better is that it's called situational leadership. We can take leadership depend on the situation. When we are with the family, we know how to be the leader. When we are in the corporate, we know how to be. Men cannot shift leadership styles. Females can shift leadership style. That is called, we can be strategic leaders. That we see things before men sees. Now, 10 years, we can just think about another 2 years, this is going to happen. That's, they say, women are good in forecasting. That is strategical leadership. And women knows how to react when the situation changes. Men doesn't know. Those are the skills that we have. And those are the resilient skills. Those are things that's why when the COVID, the deaths were more on men and deaths were less on women. It's nothing to do with the physical. If you really read the researchers, they said the mental stability matters during the COVID. When female get the fever, she thinks, okay, I'm having fever, but she ignore it and she takes the medication and all. When a man get the fever and man get the COVID, He thinks this is the end of everything. I got COVID and I'm sick. The woman never thinks she's sick. When I remember there was a photograph, a picture which went on social media. It's a woman with oxygen holding the oxygen and cooking for the family who was having COVID. Right? That is called resilience. When the husband lost the job, the woman will run the family, ensure the kids has food. That is called resilience. And where the business may have gone closed because of COVID, but she will start a new business from home. And it's not called business skill. That is called the women leadership situation. That's resilience. So these are the things when we try to think up external things, think about what we have inner. We don't need to, because I always say, there is a saying of me who has said, we women are like, situation for us, women are like we are preparing a curry. It depends whether it's a meat curry or a vegetable. We put ingredients according to that dish, right? We cook the meat according to that meat. The vegetable dish is separately because we know it's too different. When the things get tough, when the things change, we know how to react. That is called resilience. That is called peace. If women needs, it's not about anything to do with, the world cannot give us peace, right? Only one who can give us peace and happiness is within us. And we are not program machines. We are the program, we program our own thing. We are actually what we call is, we have our own, no one has programmed us. We do our own programming to us. So don't let people tell you, this is how you should be living your life. This is called, there's no definition. If you go and check, none of the dictionaries has a definition for empowerment in English dictionary. Empowerment depends on each and every person. What empowerment means for me is not the empowerment means for another woman. It is completely different. It can be a financial empowerment for someone. It can be emotional. It can be a family empowerment. So do not put on everything on a car like a buffet, right? Choose your menu correctly and choose your dish. So you do not regret, what happens to us is women, we order something and then we look at the other woman as, and we think, oh, I should have ordered that dish. Don't think about it because we don't know her purpose of life. What we have ordered is to reach our purpose of life and be happy with what we have got. If we have got a husband, think that's the best husband we have because we do not know the other husband, what the hell is he doing with that family? So be happy with the man you have and don't try to change that man. Because the issue is, we are trying to change a grown-up man and say, there's no peace, there's no happiness in our life because of him. No, he cannot bring you happiness. It's you who can bring happiness. You check this thing, then you get the happiness. And also, if you do not have a husband, don't cry over a husband because the freedom you have may not be having with that married wife because the married woman always has to get approval. Come on, you don't need to get approval. Like me, I don't get approvals. I give approvals to everyone, right? So it's different. And when you have kids, don't think, oh, these are the reason I have so much of issues. I wished I had the freedom because you are blessed. Look at the person who doesn't have kids. They must be suffering. And also, if you do not have kids, don't think that a mother who has kids are enjoying. No, their life is a mess, right? So be happy with what you have. Not look for things which is not within you or which is outside, because it's not your plate. It's not your dish. Your dish is with you. And I would say I do not want, because my time is gone. I want to say this to everyone. Empowerment, peace, or whatever the words we use, nothing can change us if we are not ready to change within us. Our subconscious programming has to change. Our software has to change. Our software, the ownership, the rights, and everything, the policies within us. Change your policy, rewrite your software, replace your software, and rewind your inner spirit. You will find the peace, happiness, and everything. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you, Sulo. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions from the audience? Any questions? Mari? Ipti? Atu? Any questions?
May I ask a question to start off the participants, if that will probably
Yes.
give them thing. I would love to ask Sulo that how you actually came into working in this particular field. What brought you here? I would love to know a little bit about the story. It sounds very interesting because you're extremely passionate about what you're doing, very obviously.
So I have been, how to say, I've been a job. I was living my life, but things were not that same. As I told you, I never knew about inner life or empowerment, and I was not someone who was happy with being with women. I was happy to enjoy life, but unfortunately, life made me a turning point when I was just in 28, 29, with 2 kids, and I left alone. So when I was living alone, and I was thought about that my happiness is no more. I do not have a life, and I wanted to go away from my life. But then again, I had 2 kids to look who were looking up. So that's where I found my purpose of life. Why they didn't ask to come to this world, I brought them, and I never ran away from my responsibility. So I sat and I wrote my purpose of life. Even today, I have my written purpose of my life. I live for my kids. So then I found the purpose, and I saw that I was blessed because I had the background, I had the education, but not many who have a blessed. So I tried to tell them that life is your choice, life is your thing. So I went out of my way. I had a promising career. When I became a single mother, I left my promising career, which I was working for a multinational company, well paid, everything was there. I was at home with 2 kids with no job, nothing. And I started my own business. I have not learned what is business. My family didn't want to support because they believed that I should be professionally employed, not an entrepreneur. So I failed, but I never gave up. I succeeded. So I start talking about entrepreneurship. I start helping women. I start learning about things, and my son was struggling with school because in Sri Lanka, when you're a single mother, our school system is not very supportive. So I learn about child psychology to help my child. So whenever they were doing exams, I started doing exams for myself. And I studied education because I started continuing my education to help them to be educated. So where now both I have finished schooling. My son has just finished his LLB in law, and now he's working for a company. My daughter is just finishing her business degree. So I think life gave me a purpose. So my purpose was to be happy with my kids. Now I think they are more happy because now they don't have time for me. So I enjoy, I think happiness is not just within, I want to share my happiness. And I think Dr. Shakila must have seen every day during the lockdown, I feed nearly 100 to 150 people on roads. And I speak with them. I do online counseling for people, and I live my life.
Fabulous, real inner resilience. And I think we've got some questions down there. Shakila, do you want to read them out?
Yes, I thought it would be more appropriate for later. So
okay, all right, that's fine.
Not directly to Sulo. So
Yeah.
I thought, we'll just get those questions later when the other speakers speak. Thank you so much, Sulo. Thank you so much. Inspiring story, inspiring words. Sabi, I'll just let you introduce the next speaker.
Yes. Well, our next speaker is Aisha Bakir, who is foremost a woman of great strength and vision. At a young age, she worked towards poverty alleviation with dedication and created the NGO Kavan Crafts Foundation to assist women in creating financial and personal freedom by providing business and market training to lower income groups. Today, this NGO is well received globally and has created many pathways for women. The interest in women's issues remained consistent, and it brought Aisha to a different platform, which is writing. She is a successful author of the novel Beyond the Fields, which has received innumerous accolades from the Singapore Writers' Festival, Women in Literature Festival Singapore, Money FM Career 360 Singapore, and many, many more. She continues to write on women's topics and actively advocates for women's issues on diverse platforms like Borderless, The Tempest, The Herald, to name a few. She's also an Ashoka Fellow and a recipient of the Vice Chancellor's Alumni Achievement Award from LUMS. So Aisha, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sabi. Thank you so much. Will Shafa start the screen share? I prepared a small presentation. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here on the Peacebuilding and Inner Resilience workshop. And I'm going to take off actually from where Dr. Sultana left, talking about me and what makes me happy. And this is precisely what the presentation is about. Next slide.
Shafa? Shafa, the next slide, yeah.
I'm an author and an activist. My novel, Beyond the Fields, was published by Marshall Cavendish in 2019 in Singapore. Next slide. Shafa, or do I have the, can I, okay, yeah, that's fine. So a little bit about my journey. I think the author in me tends to divide my own life into chapters. And again, this is going to be about me and how I arrived at the point I'm in. My early schooling was in Lahore, Pakistan. I won a scholarship to Mount Holyoke College, and I joined thinking that I would major in psychology. But it took a class on politics of third world development to make me change my mind. I was hooked, very engaged and intrigued by the topic of poverty. Why were some nations and communities poor while others were not? Why did it take the developed world to characterize the undeveloped world? And what would it take for the underdeveloped nations to break out of the poverty cycle? I returned back to Pakistan, determined to work in the field of development. But what followed was a year of questions. I was trying to settle back from college into a life in Lahore. At the same time, I was trying to answer questions that what would it take to alleviate poverty in Pakistan? What would make a program sustainable? What services would be sustainable and what services would help the poor? I conducted research. I worked at a few organizations. And by the end of that year, I knew one thing, one realization that came to me is that the poor just don't only need our charity or sympathy. What they do need is access to resources and networks and skills, so they themselves can improve their economic realities. And with that in mind, I joined the Lahore University of Management Sciences for my MBA program. With the MBA program, after I had completed it, I set up Caravan Foundation, which is a not-for-profit company registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. Caravan aims to alleviate poverty, especially working with women. I led Caravan from 1998 to 2013, when I relocated to Singapore, and that's where my journey as an author began. And I wrote my novel, Beyond the Fields. Next slide, please. So Caravan's mission is to build and strengthen skills and business capacities of women entrepreneurs in low-income communities, so they're successfully able to pursue entrepreneurial opportunities, participate effectively in the markets, and improve their economic realities. More information can be found on Caravan's webpage, www.caravan.com.pk. Next slide. So what does Caravan do? Caravan brings women together. It develops network of women leaders in rural areas. Women in rural areas live in isolated communities. When you gather them together into groups, which happens rarely, they suddenly find a voice. They're able to talk, they're able to share ideas. And a very natural phenomena happens. Leaders emerge. Women who have or take initiative start to voice their opinion, start to voice their feelings about how they feel about the lives they live, about what they want to do. And when this happens, the qualities of leadership emerge in a forum that is enabling. This has never happened in these communities before because the women don't get a chance to be able to talk at a forum where there are only women and women who are supporting each other. Carvan facilitates access to trainings, coaching, and capacity building. This is an area of product development, marketing, management, production, quality control, and finance. Carvan facilitates access to markets. What does this mean, access to markets? Well, we work in rural areas that are 10 to 12 hours away from cities. When we start working with entrepreneurs, we sit with them in their houses to talk about what their vision is. We develop a plan for them. What product can they make? Where do they want to supply that product? Then we talk to buyers in the market. Once the product is ready, we sit with the women from the communities and go with them to the markets where a buyer-seller meeting takes place. And the buyer-seller meetings continue until that woman is able to work with the shopkeepers and retailers directly. Hence, the key motto running through the program is development, not dependence. The women are never dependent on us for orders or for survival or taking their business forward. Carvan has also works on areas of digital literacy, and given the COVID, this has been of immense value since they have been able to supply orders to the market irrespective of the transportation facilities. Next slide, thank you. Ashafa, next slide, please.
Shafa?
So Carvan works right now currently in 22 districts. It has empowered over 25,000 women entrepreneurs. It has enabled 80 women who have been digitally enabled, trained in how to market their products online. It works in over 1,000 villages and has over 250 development centers. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. Yes. So Carvan conducted a very interesting exercise. We actually went back to the women and we said that, you know, if you had to write a sentence about what has happened in your journey in Carvan, what would you write? And Anis Fatima, who lives in Bahawalpur, said, I have given my family what we had thought we had lost forever, hope. Next slide. Simply start somewhere. The road ahead will unravel itself, says Rehana Kausar. Next slide. Skills helped me break many social barriers that had kept me caged in all these years, Nabila Kausar. So these are some of the thoughts of our women entrepreneurs. Just one slide back, thank you. No, just back. Sorry, can you go back? Yes, right. Just one slide forward, sorry. Yes, that's good. So my novel, Beyond the Fields, was published in Singapore in 2019. And I have been asked many times about why I chose to write a topic of rape and sexual assault. I led Carvan from 1998 to 2013, and we worked purely on issues of economic development and sustainability. However, my time in the communities and the village, spent with the village women, I saw and heard stories that made me shrivel, but at the same time made me want to question the norms and the culture that prevailed in those communities. And when I moved to Singapore, I was unable to get those out of my mind. So although the story is fictional, set in the 1980s under Ziaul Haq, the voices are real. They come from the girls and the women who I met during my journey within Carvan. Beyond the Fields is a story about a young village girl called Zara. Zara has dreams. She's 15 years old. She wants to study. She wants to become someone important. And one afternoon, while she's playing a game of hide and seek with her twin Tara is abducted and raped. And Zara sets out on a journey to get justice for her twin. Next slide, please. Why rape? Well, according to the World Health Organization, nearly 1 in every 3 women worldwide has been physically were sexually abused by their partners or experienced non-partner sexual violence. So rape is a pandemic. Next slide. In the words of the 15-year-old Zara, my honor, the izzat I bring to my family, is that all there is to me? Next slide. And what are the rural realities of women in villages of Pakistan? Violence. It takes a minute, but the shame lasts a lifetime. These words were quoted to me many years ago in the summer of 1999, as I sat with one Zora Baji in the village of Guru Mangat, trying to persuade her to send her two daughters, Nazia and Shazia, to a training that was happening just a few lanes away. I crouched with the Baji in her courtyard. I said that girls will learn how to paint glass, they'll be able to make cards, they'll be able to sell those, earn income. And she said, no, my girls have to work, they have to help me look after children. I said, well, can someone else come and we'll arrange for someone to look after your other children? She said, no, they have to help me cook. I said, can cooking be done earlier or later? She said, no. And then she turned to me and she said, you don't understand. It takes less than a minute, but the shame lasts a lifetime. And that was her reality. And it was important for us at that time to understand her reality and to cater the program so we could work within those constraints. Because that's what makes us resilient to the situation. Women in low-income communities are isolated and unorganized. They lack access to justice. There are no police stations, and even if they are hesitant to go there. There's asset or land ownership is close to impossible, and there are limited economic opportunities. Next slide. But then there are moments like this. There are moments when women come together, work together, and create an energy that is boundless. It fills the air. It lifts everyone's spirit, and it shows what happens when women come together, work together, and support each other. This was an order of 2,000 shirts that women came together in villages of Bahawalpur to complete. It was for a large retailer in Pakistan, and it was the first of a kind of order going to women in villages. And what we had thought was, of course, there'll be economic returns coming to the women from this. But this, it surpassed our expectations. Women began to exchange stories. They began to exchange tales of what had happened to them, of what problems they were facing. So the working environment actually became a place where women found comfort and strength from each other. And once this order was completed, the woman was so determined that, okay, order has completed, but we've shown the retailer we can do this once, we'll do this again, that to date, they continue to work with one of the largest retailers. Next slide, please. So what are the tools for peace building and resilience? Through mine and Karwan's experience and through my journey as an author, I find skills. Giving women basic skills, whether it's literacy, whether it's a practical skill or a technical skill, enhances her self-confidence. Women usually in low-income communities of Pakistan, when a girl is born, there's no celebration. She's the last one to eat in the house. She's taught to lie because if she speaks the truth, she will be punished. So it's important to give the woman and impart skills to them. Network, again, like I said, networks and leadership opportunities are critical for women to find peace and resilience. And finally, stories, whether they're literary novels, whether they're comics, folk, or family tales. Women find strength in each other's stories, in their mother's stories, in their grandmother's stories. It is the place where they can find solace and strength for peace, building, and resilience. Next slide, please. So, in the words of Margaret Atwood, a word after a word after a word is power. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. Very inspiring story. Your life story, together with all the work, all the grand work that you are doing. And I think Sulo also does some similar work. So I think we have got two ladies here who are doing great work, empowering women. Although Sulo does not like me to use the word empowering, but I'm using it because it does empower women to achieve better. Any questions from the audience? Anybody? There's one question which says, how do you identify negative resilience? Aisha.
So I wouldn't call it negative resilience. I would call it, I'll give you an example. When we started working in South Punjab, it was our first time we were working there, and we went there and we found the women to be very receptive. They agreed to everything we were saying, and we started work with them. We took down their names, their ID card numbers, their family details. Of course, that's necessary. We even started them giving them orders. And then suddenly we realized that everything they had been telling us was a lie, from their ID cards to whether they were married, to whether they had children. Everything was a lie because they didn't trust us. So the issue is not of so much negative resilience as it is of trying to understand where are these women coming from? What are their stories? What is their past? What is making them behave the way they are? And they did that because they had been cheated by nonprofit organizations before. They had been lied to, promises had been broken. So they were very wary of us. They didn't tell us, but they just lied. So negative resilience, I think, would imply that, you try not to change. But I think what we tried to do in that situation was to step back and try and understand why they had behaved the way they had behaved. And we started again. This time, of course, double checking, trying to make sure that the information we were getting was right. So often we are very quick to come to judgments, and we have one bad experience and we say, no, that is it. I'm not going to. We feel hurt. And that's where I think our ego comes into play. So the issue is really to step back and to say, if this community or this woman or someone, has cheated me or lied to me or betrayed me, well, what was the reason they did that? And to try and learn from that and see whether any good can come out of that.
That's really fabulous, if I may say that. It's really like leadership in itself, to understand where to go forward, and actually putting yourself in a position where you say, all right, there is obviously a platform over here which I need to understand, and what is it? It's questioning the platform itself. That's absolutely fabulous. Now, and if I may say so, it's women who do that. All right.
Yeah,
Anything else?
Yeah, Sulo wants to say something.
Yeah. They agree with her because Sri Lanka was after 30 years of war. So there was a war between the Northeast and the South. So I was used to train, women who was come back from LTT. So I'm a Sinhalese. So when I went there, no, they were not ready to accept me. First thing I think for resilience is not about being negative. It's just don't judge people. When you go, don't judge them. And also respect their culture. They may have something we don't know. So that's something I did. I just ignored. I didn't judge. I continued. And believe me, I didn't know a word of Tamil, but I was there after 2 years. I signed for that girl wedding, right? So it's how you, if you look at that saying it's a negative resilience, no, it's not negative. It's their shield for their protection because we have not lived their life. So don't judge, just respect, accept, and change the way you are treating them and use their own methods. So we will meet in a way halfway. Then that's where we can do the empowerment, as Dr. Shakila said. Thank you.
Thank you, Sulo. Thank you. And if there's no other questions, I will introduce our next speaker, Aisha Salim Asghar. Aisha is the co-founder of the Happiness, Fitter, Holistic Wellbeing and Lifestyle Company. She is also a meditation coach specializing in guided visualization with Sufi elemental breath work. She's also a certified energy worker, Reiki master, past life regression coach, trained by Dr. Brian Weiss, certified fitness trainer, specializing in group dance fitness, certified and experienced Montessori teacher. All the things that I wanted to do, Aisha. Past life regression, I definitely want to go back and then see what has made me who I am today. Yes, the floor is yours, Aisha. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm so pleased to be here speaking with everyone. Thank you, Sabi, for this opportunity. Thank you, Mariam, Dr. Mariam. I will just begin with asking everyone, our topic for today is peace building and inner resilience. So peace building, as we all touched upon, as the speakers also touched upon, it really does come from within us. There are triggers all around us at any given moment. And most of the time we get reactive and we respond in ways that later on we may not approve of or may not like. So why do we get triggered? Why do we get reactive? Being at peace comes with centering ourselves and aligning ourselves. And that peace starts from within, as Dr. Sulchana also said. It begins from inside. It's something that is there inside of us. So right now, here is a little exercise that I would like everyone to do, a little activity. And I would like you all to join me. And let's see if we can tap into that inner resilience and to build that inner peace within us, enhance it. So join me in this activity. First of all, let's begin by taking a deep breath in and out. When you exhale, exhale with a sigh. And then let's find our core. So I will just show you. This is where our core is, where our belly button is, just above. So let's start tapping our core gently, not vigorously, very gently, tapping it, waking it up. Because as the things are today, society, culture, it makes us, it makes us cut off from our core. We leave it far behind. We cover it up with a lot of other things. So let's right now wake it up slightly so that we are back in touch with things that matter to us, our core. Second, when you're done, think about, let's find our seat. Our seat, our power, our personal power, which is our sits bone. Let's find our, if you have, just separate the fleshy part, find your sits bone, your tailbone, and allow that sits bone to connect with the earth element, with the earth. Allow the roots from there to penetrate through into the earth. And the earth has got you. The earth is holding you, always. And that is where you get your inner resilience. That is where you get your steadfastness. That is where you get your stability, your strength. So you breathe into that strength and let it be known that I am here. Once that strength is within you and you're breathing in, you take that energy upwards towards your crown. Take it towards the crown. Now the crown is not here. The crown is a little behind the top of our head. So the energy goes up straight. So you tilt your chin down. And what does that project? This is arrogance. This is humility. So you allow your crown to be complete alignment, your whole body centered and aligned, your energy spiraling upwards, your crown up, your chin down, and just breathe in, connected to the earth, straight, and feel that inherent dignity, that resilience, that inherent respect. Now remember that you are born with it. You don't earn it. You are born with it. It cannot be replaced and it cannot be taken away. You choose to step into it again and again, every now and then, whenever you want to. It is yours. Remember that you are born with it. So when you breathe and align and center yourself vertically, then you start to expand horizontally. When you are grounded and anchored, straight, supported, steadfast, then you can extend out your generosity, your openness to everyone around. Because remember, if you are not positioned in that space of strength and anchored, when you extend outwards, you will definitely go off balance. So to keep your balance and stay steady, you need to first anchor yourself like we did, and then spread out and allow all your generosity to spread outwards. Feel that width, that sense of spaciousness around you. Drop your shoulders back and just breathe into that resilience and that peace. Extend it into the space around you. Breathing in and breathing out. Let it extend into relationships that you have. The whole room, and sometimes you extend it out way too much. And if you feel it's too much, you can bring it back in slightly. Look beyond, look over the horizon as you are breathing in and out, and feel the generations in front of you. Feel the generations behind you. And you take your place where you are, right here, in this moment, with your inner resilience. And in that, you breathe in that integrity, that inherent integrity, which is yours and no one can take it away from you. And that inner peace. And once you are done, organize all your actions and your behavior so that what matters to you, you are always connected with it, with your core. Center ourselves. It's like a muscle. You have to keep working at it to make it stronger. Anytime you want, you do this short exercise to strengthen your core and you make yourself stronger. The more you do it, like a muscle, it will become stronger, and it will take you 30 seconds to do it, not 3, 4, 5 minutes. So that you can come back to what matters to you. And when you do that, it will benefit us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha.
That was lovely, Aisha. And
Really nice.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. I went into a little mode of my own at that point. That was
I really anchored myself too. I really anchored down on the ground.
Yeah. And I think now we have Rabi, if I may introduce Rabi. So another amazing lady that we have the pleasure of having with us today is Rabi Nawaz, also a co-founder of Happiness Fit Singapore with Aisha Salim Asghar. They have together adopted a mix of ancient healing techniques, modern science, and cognitive methods to create mind shifts and positive perspectives on life. Rabi Nawaz is a certified Gallup Strength Coach, a Vedic life coach, a motivational keynote speaker, as well as being a passionate advocate of sustainability and venture philanthropy. She also has 18 years of management consultancy experience in an innovative strategic solutions. So we will now be honored to listen to Rabi.
Thank you, Sabina, Dr. Mariam. Thank you for having us here. I think Aisha, Dr. Sulo, and Aisha Chandi spoke so well. And I'd like to add a little bit about and speak a little bit about resilience today with all of you. So when I think of resilience, what's the definition of resilience? Well, the dictionary definition is it's the capacity to recover quickly from a difficulty, or it's the ability to spring back into shape. But life is all about ups and downs. And resilience is what helps us get back up and face life, face the hurdles, and keep going. But my question is, what makes some people more resilient than others? Well, there are many factors, and some of our speakers earlier spoke about them, that help us stay resilient in our life. But in my opinion, there are two main pillars that really differentiate those who are resilient and those who are not. The number one, and a lot of us touched it upon here today, which is knowing that you have a purpose. What does that mean? Well, let's pause for a moment and observe. The universe that we are in, that we're part of, it's actually an ecosystem where all things around us are serving a purpose. Be it the trees that help us give shade, beauty, fruit, oxygen, the mountains, even the sun gives us vitamin D, it gives life. We have all seen and heard of documentaries where the scientists took beavers out of the lakes or creeks and then the whole ecosystem collapsed. Because even a small animal like a beaver was playing such an important part in keeping the balance. So everything around us really is serving a purpose. So guys, what makes us think that you and I, that are also part of this big universe, the universal ecosystem, that we don't have a bigger purpose to serve in this life? And I always say, yes, our purpose is to have babies. Yes, our purpose is to work and pay bills. But beyond babies and bills, there is a bigger purpose that each one of us has. Purpose is essential to resilience. The ability to adapt positively, learn, grow from experiences, and keep going towards our goals. Research studies have indicated that if we live with purpose, we are also apt to live longer, have better health, and make better life choices. It makes sense, doesn't it? If I have a compelling reason to get up every morning and I have something I enjoy doing, and I feel that my work is important to others and I'm making a difference, I'm probably going to take better care of myself so that I can do the work to the best of my abilities. So the questions to ask are these. Number one, what do I do that is deeply satisfying? So I really want all of you to ask yourselves this question. What do I do that is deeply satisfying? And if it's so satisfying that I lose track of time. What comes easily to me? What is my God-given ability that comes so easily? Who needs me? Where can I contribute? You know, the universe is very smart. In order for each one of us to fulfill our purpose, we have been equipped with certain strengths. And that brings me to my second pillar, understanding your strengths. Like I mentioned, each one of us has innate strengths. These strengths are unique to us. We must go within ourselves, observe and understand, what are my greatest strengths? What comes easily to me? What am I naturally good at? As you guys know, I am a Gallup's Strength Finder coach. And Gallup's has a Strength Finder assessment that tells you your top 5 strengths. And a lot of corporates use that. But you know what I find fascinating is that they say, and the research has shown this, that 1 in 33 million people have the same sequence of strengths than anybody else. 1 in 33 million. So that means that your strengths are like your unique fingerprints. They're unique to you. Why? Because you bring your essence to it. However, unfortunately, we spend too much of our lifetime focusing on things that we're not good at. our weaknesses. Think about it. If I'm not good at something, I'm here. And if I work really hard and persevere, I may be able to bring it up here. But if I work with my strength, I'm already starting off from here. And the harder I work, I may go up. So if you're operating from your strengths, you will always go further in life as opposed to struggling. Think for a moment of how hard you had to work, the effort, the struggle to do something you are not good at. Let's take a minute or a second to think about that. Think about a time as you were growing up where you struggled with something. Versus, now think about something that you love doing. You were great at it. It was so easy for you. Remember, strength will always come naturally and easy. Bringing awareness to how you felt at this time. It's very, very important to bring that awareness to how did I feel? Because that will be an indicator for you. They say the most effective way to develop and empower people is to help them use their strengths. And once we understand our strengths and learn to operate from that place, I promise you, you will be serving your purpose. It's a proven fact that people who operate from their strengths are more productive, they're more efficient, they're definitely happier, and they have the ability to handle any situation that life throws at them. If you know your strengths and you believe that you are here on earth to serve a bigger purpose in this world, to make it a better place, how can you not be resilient? Those two factors alone will help you bounce back from any adversity or challenge. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah. Any questions from the audience? Mari? Dale? At the moment, nothing.
I'm here, Shakila, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Any questions, Dale?
I'm just listening. It's very, very interesting. What should I ask? Hey, Shakila, you know, one of the one who was talking from Pakistan.
Aisha?
Yeah.
I think she was studying at the same school in America with my daughter-in-law, Sarah.
Oh, there you go. It's a small world, Aisha.
Yeah, so we were listening together. Sarah also was with me listening together. So, and she has even, in fact, sent a message here telling me about it.
Yeah, okay. There's a question here from the audience. How do we make our children do what they are good at?
Ravi? I'll go ahead and tackle that question. I think the number one thing is to observe and observe what are they playing with, what are they naturally gravitating towards. And also, I think like a lot of parents, you give them exposure, whether it's musical things. I think you allow them and give them exposure, but it's a very fine balance, not pushing it too hard. So if you're a kid, you introduce them to, say, drumming, but your kid is now resisting drumming after a few weeks, then don't push it anymore. Because I think naturally what they're good at it, they'll pick it up and they'll continue from there. I'd like to just tell you a quick anecdote. My mother says that we are 3 siblings. And my mother says that if she was to observe now in hindsight what each one of us did as kids, she'd be able to predict our careers. So my brother would always be playing with animals. And to the point where he was so obsessed with animals that he would take pillows and make them into animals, his pets. And guess what? He grew up to be an animal, a dog trainer and an animal behaviorist. So, you know, so this is just a small example, but I think you will, if you observe your children, you will realize and see what the strengths as a mother, especially, I would say you have the ability to do that.
Yeah. Anybody else wants to add to that?
I can add to that with something which I think Shakila knows. I have a youngest one who's a singer. And all his life, he never had a plan B. It was only plan A. And he's probably the happiest out of all my children. The other two are sort of bankers and business people and whatever, and always worried about this spreadsheet and that spreadsheet. And this third one has probably nothing financially, but he's the happiest out of all three of them because he does what he likes, which is exactly what you're talking about. If the passion is there, your whole life is joy because you're just doing what you like. So definitely, I see that in the third one.
Yeah, good. Since we are running out of time, I think we have to sort of start going towards wrapping this up. But I would like a couple of words, couple of statements from all the speakers. So Aisha?
Sure. So I was just going to pick up on where you were talking about doing something that makes you happy. And there are two things. When I was in Mount Holyoke on my spring holiday, I applied for a internship and I was accepted by the United Nations. And I spent a week at the UN. And I remember at that time having a conversation with a mentor, deciding whether after graduation from my college, should I stay and try to get into an organization like the UN and go back home? And he was about 45, 50 then. And he said to me that, you know, if you're really passionate about creating change, start from the grassroots, because I think that's what will make you more happy, because you'll see change. And he was telling me, not in so many words, that how somehow when you're stuck inside a bureaucratic organization and you don't see change, that's where the disappointment starts. And at least initially, you have to go and experience, before talking about poverty, you have to work with the poor to see what they go through. And after my graduating from, Lahore University of Management Sciences, my parents threw a fit when they realized that I wanted to go and work in villages of Pakistan, because that wasn't something that girls did. They went into banks or corporations or MNCs. But I stuck to my gun, and finally they came around and they were very proud of me. And it makes a lot of sense, I think, taking what Ravi said forward, and everybody added to that also, that you build up, you start something you enjoy or makes you passionate or you feel something strongly about, and you will succeed.
Yes. Pointless doing something that you're not happy, if you're not happy in life. Always do things that makes you happy. That's the main purpose according to Suluh. That's why we live, to be happy. Aisha Salim, one statement from you, please.
Just about inner resilience and peace. Inner resilience, I think, as I mentioned, also we are born with it. It's an inherent quality. A child at 2 years old falls down, gets up. He's born with that resilience, right? Or she is born with that resilience. So we somehow cover it up with layers and layers. So it's just a matter of finding it again and then getting connected with it. And peace will come eventually from within as well, once the resilience raises its head.
Yeah, thank you. Suluh?
Sorry, I think everyone said what it is, but I would say there's two different, being successful and happy. Happiness is something, you can be successful, but you cannot be happy, but you can happy and be successful. So it's not about being just successful. It's about finding happiness within the success. Success cannot find happiness. Happiness can find success. And it goes to the children also. Don't try to make successful children, make happy children. So they will treat you nicely. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Very true. Sabi, you want to say a few words?
I'm just going to say something a little bit more holistic, probably. It's more the understanding that I've felt always, and it's the understanding that the universe is infinite in perfection. And only when we acknowledge and embrace all this chaos, which creates the perfection, is when we feel that we've actually created that resilience within us as well. And you move towards the perfection of yourself and of everything around you, because you connect to the universe. But the acknowledgement has to come from within, as I think all of us have said. And there is chaos. There is there is a lot of things which happen before you reach that peace or that platform of peace. But that's the journey, and that's the beauty of it. So as long as we try to reach there, I think the success is already, started in that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all the wonderful speakers and all the participants who asked questions. This session is really, really interesting, and I actually learned a lot and enjoyed myself. Fortunately, resilience is something that we can build within ourselves to create peace within. We can then look at negative situations realistically, but in a way that doesn't center on blame or brooding over what cannot be changed. So always we must seek support. I know talking about your difficulties doesn't make them disappear, but sharing and discussing with a compassionate friend or loved one can actually help you gain insight. It could also help you better manage the challenges you are dealing with, and most importantly, help build your own resilience and bring about inner peace. So hopefully after this workshop, all of you will be able to view adversity not as an insurmountable challenge, but have the courage to reframe your thoughts, focus on the positive things you can do, can help get you out of a negative mindset and tackle the problems, and then create your inner peace, bring about your inner resilience, and then reach happiness. So RISE, this is our organization that Sabina and I have, will continue conducting a series of free workshops like this and seminars towards our vision of building a strong community of women who would excel in whatever field that they are engaged in, and attain peace within themselves and create peaceful societies. So once again, thank you all, and hopefully we shall see you again next month when we will be conducting a workshop on generational change and traditional patterns of society. Sabi, would you like to say something about it?
Yes, definitely. Please do join us on that. It will be on our website, it will be on the Insta, it will be on the Facebook. And please also remember that all our consultancies are free. So don't be shy. Please contact us if you need help, or if there's anything that we can do to help you. We are all there. I mean, the whole idea of this platform is to connect women to each other. So please do remember that. That is the essence of actually all these workshops. And thank you very much for being
let me just check the chat box. They are all thanking you. They all enjoyed this session. To all the speakers, and thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you, girls. Thank you all of you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.